what exactly are dividends and what is this concept of dividend investing? Like, what does that really mean?
Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the OG days. I feel like with what dividend investing like really was, right? It was just the notion of getting passive income. That was attractive to me when I first started, right? It's a very, like I said, sexy, attractive idea. You're gonna get passive income. I'm not gonna have to lift a finger, and I'm gonna just get money. That's amazing. That's what everybody's looking for. But here's the deal: when you are dividend investing for passive income, like I said, and that's the thing that attracts you, you're forgetting the long term vision. And so what you really want, in my opinion, is and anybody out there, you can feel free to roast me if you want. I mean, I love it, but if you're gonna go for dividend investing as an early 20s, early 30s, even early 40s, something year old, you're risking future capital appreciation. And so I just want to caution you there. And so what are dividends in the first place? Let's dumb it down. Sesame Street simple. Let's you invest into a company. It's probably a pretty well-known dominant company. They have excess capital that they are not going to use. So instead of using that capital, say like a tech company typically will use all of their capital up to do some R&D. We always take Apple, for example. And they do pay a small dividend, but we always got to get the next newest generation iPhone. That's new technology constantly coming our way. So they can't really afford to pay out these massive dividends. On the other hand, you could take a company more like a Procter and Gamble. They have their products. Their products probably aren't going to change. There's not going to be new technology with them. So they get this excess capital. They say, basically, let's thank our shareholders and pay them some money back into your pocket. Now, again, sexy idea in theory, but what do a lot of dividend investors do anyways? Reinvest the dividend. So you're not even going to take that passive income. And if you do decide to take that passive income, you're going to get taxed. So all things just to consider. If you're going to reinvest the dividends, you got a long timeline. I say orient yourself towards growth. That comes again with the caveat of understanding your risk tolerance and volatility. And again, those definitions, what is volatility and what is risk, important to understand as well. I hope I answered that, Keith. Uh, Good enough.
For sure, for sure. And then, so when it comes to thinking about some of the other things that might go wrong with dividend investing, one of the things that came to my mind about all of this, I did a video early on my channel where it was like, I said, don't buy dividend stocks. And the whole point of the video was like talking about how when companies are constantly looking for ways to pay their investors, when they're constantly taking their profits and paying their investors, those profits are not necessarily going into growing the business, right? And into reinvesting and growing the business. How do you look at that, or how do you think about also some of the incentives that kind of come around dividends from that perspective? Is that something you think about?
Yeah, well, so again, at these days, I'm not focused on dividends, but
Fair.
coming from the background that I have come from, being insanely excited about dividend investing, and that's what I'm going to say. I didn't know a whole lot about really investing. I started dividend investing. I knew it was safe. Okay, I knew it was going to deliver me passive income. I had this notion of really now what a lot of dividend investors, or I want to say income investors, are super hyped about, which is FIRE, financial independence, retire early. Like that always seems to coincide with the dividend investor mindset. And I totally get it. I have a lot to say about that as well, just like outside of the framework of investing. But if you think for 1 second that life is about sitting on a beach and like la di da da all day, and like you're going to get super bored. So if you're going to go down the route of FIRE, you better also have something else that you're going to want to do, because I think a lot of people forget about that. But that's I guess a topic for another time. Dividend investing, right, and investing into these companies that could be putting their capital to real use. I like to just say it's better off, in my opinion, in the company's pocket than mine. What am I going to do with the capital? I mean, really, what am I going to do with the capital, or what is anybody else going to do with the capital? You're gonna buy your groceries now? Like I say, hustle hard now. Forget about the dream to retire right now if you have decades to go. I say, add fuel to the fire. Put money into the money machine. Compound your capital. This is the eighth wonder of the world that we're talking about. And so I want to get to the seven figure club as fast as freaking possible because then as I get older and as I have less of a timeline on my hands and I don't have as much to risk, I can reorient the portfolio towards dividends. And then with a seven figure plus portfolio there, we're really talking about guys, not just receiving like $1.25 or like $26.72. We're talking about hundreds of dollars that you can receive, thousands of dollars that you can receive from a monumentous portfolio. But when you're working with small potatoes, some of these portfolios I've seen that people are like, let's go, dividend investors. It's like $50,000. Not only that, a lot of these guys or gals get super diversified. And I'm a fan of diversification, which is something I could speak to when I changed the entire direction of my portfolio and the strategy there. But so many people have so many holdings. Receiving a 25-cent dividend, is that even exciting? Like I got to ask, it's not exciting to me, but maybe someone else out there can jump in.
Hey, you made it to the end of the clip. That means you're probably enjoying this. And if so, just know that you can catch us live every Tuesday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to see the full version of this episode, you can click the link in the description down below. Otherwise, YouTube thinks that you will enjoy this next.